black people who are cops and in the military, why would you do that? This country don't give a damn about you and you ready to die behind it? I'll serve crack before I...
Why is it this imaginary beef between black people that joined the military versus black people that didn't join the military? And it's always the black people that didn't join the military that come at us unprovoked. It's okay if you didn't want to join the military. It's okay. But guess what? My college is free. My son's college is free. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us in the military came out of the military ahead of some of y'all that talk trash. A lot of us ain't see combat at all. I did 9.5 years. And guess how many combat places I've been to? 0. If I had to, I wouldn't have a problem. That's a part of the job. I also went to like 10 different countries. A lot of countries that you look at on your FYP page. Why do y'all have this imaginary beef? Leave us alone. Leave us alone. My homeboy just got 100%. He don't even got to go to work. That's an extra $4,500 a month on top of your job while you out here filing for unemployment. What's your day, buddy? And then you said you would sell crack before you joined them. Okay, I'm done.
And that's what my dilemma is, because I understand that the military is a trap for young black men. It's always been a trap for black men. It's the way. Go downstairs now. And now I understand. And I get it, because I feel both ways about it, because I understand that the military is a trap for black men, and it's a lot of benefits that you can get out of it. But that's what makes it a trap, is that it's so many benefits, but once you sign on that line, your life is signed away. And somebody with a wealthier off background or a wealthier family would be less likely to sign their life away on that dotted line, because they don't need the benefits, they don't need the resources. That's why a lot of it ends up happening, a lot of recruitment stations in black neighborhoods and things of that sort, because it's a concerted effort to take out our kids. I don't want to say take out our kids, but recruit our kids, because our kids are more likely to go than them going to the suburbs and trying to recruit their kids. You know what I mean? And they know that the parent, and they know, go, stop yelling and go sit down. And they're more likely in the suburbs to fight against it with their kids. You know what I mean? Like the parents are more likely to fight against it because they can provide that, or those benefits, or help their kid get a job that can provide those benefits. But a black parent, on the other hand, is more likely to encourage their kid to go, because they don't have those opportunities for themselves, or even to give to their kids graduating from college, you know what I mean, or getting in off daddy's money. That's not happening for us. So you're more likely to push your kid to that, to have a stable life. At least you know they're going to get a stable outcome, or income out of it. You know what I mean? A stable benefits, stable medical, stable, VA loans to get a house and things like that. I actually have a nephew who's in the military, and I think he's working on getting him a house right now, which is a beautiful thing, you know what I mean? And he is a little older than me. I think he's like a year older than me, or a couple months. But I don't got no house. I don't own no house. So, you know what I mean? I do see the pros from it. You do get out and you live better than niggas on the street. But at the same time, it's like, nigga, I ain't giving my life. I ain't giving a dime to these people who then dismantled our whole community. So I do understand the other side. It's like, how much am I willing to sell my soul for? Now, I'm not saying joining the military, selling your soul. But to me, in a way, it kind of is. You being a cop, you doing any of these jobs. But also, I do understand from the other perspective, too, that we need some of our people in these positions. You know what I mean? To be able to save us and stuff. Because I also don't feel okay with Pete Hegseth right now trying to take all the black people out the military. Because when they start calling out these races, when they get to changing the Constitution and calling them, making racist ass laws, and they call it in the National Guard to enforce these laws, they don't want to see black faces in the National Guard, because they know we're likely to go against the program. So they're trying to get us all out right now, get us all out, all of us out of the positions of power and things like that, which makes sense from their perspective. But from our perspective, so I get it that way too. It's like, and that's why it's a tricky conversation for me. You know what I mean? It's a tricky conversation being had back and forth. Blacks joining the military, bad. Blacks joining the military, good. I can see both ways. I don't think I can land on one side. And if I had to, I would probably lean a little more to the side of, I don't fuck with it. You know what I mean? I think people from the military, we should start creating our own black military. But once we try things like that, it ends up leading to gangs. You know what I mean? That's what they say the gangs came from. So you know, it's just a tricky situation. I think we could do it now, though, if we just keep solid individuals in charge of this. But let's get into more of this argument. Let's see different perspectives, and I'll be back with y'all in a minute.
Peace, y'all. My name is Brother Legend, and I'm here to raise your consciousness. Y'all, we don't got no business in the military. We don't got no business at all joining any United States military. We live in a country that has historically used black bodies, but never cared about black lives. And I know how this country works. It put us in these harsh conditions with a lack of resources in order to make us choose the lesser of two evils, and some of us choose to go the military route. But we should know that our bodies have been used as cannon fodder in every American war. Some of us are even proud of it. They give you a pew-pew in a uniform and you think you somebody, and then they tell you to go fight in their best interest. And then they put you in someone else's land, fighting someone else's war, doing things to liberate other people that you can't do to liberate your people here at home. As soon as you put on one of their uniforms, whether it's an orange jumpsuit or camouflage and boots, you are U.S. property. That's why you'll see this news clip going around talking about them. They're not mourning their lives. They don't care about our lives. They're mourning the loss of U.S. property. And low-key, I think the black community has shown that they do not support U.S. interests in the Middle East, and now they're trying to use this to win us back. Do not fall for the okie doke. Wake up.
You're a black person, you plan to join the military, I'll say this right now. Don't let another black person try to shun you from doing it. Because even though they talk about the negative or the negatives highlighted about the military, there's a lot more pros to this. Now, am I saying this is say all be all? No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, if you're in a situation that you know that you're trying to get out of, use this as a stepping stone to get out that situation and take every opportunity that you got here to go to newer heights. Because there's a lot of systems within America that's outside the military. I do not see a lot of people that are a little like us that's complaining about, but those systems are created just to keep every single one of you at the bottom. At the bottom. This is why there's a majority of y'all that is joining the military, because y'all realizing that situation is a flawed system and y'all do not want to be stuck there. So I do understand. So I say this to tell you, if you really want to go do something better, stay off the drugs, stay off all that. Get through MEPS. If you need a waiver, see if you can get a waiver. When you get through all those checkpoints and you get in and you make it through BCT, boot camp, whatever, run with the opportunity. Just run with it. And this don't just go for black people, just go for minorities of all colors, shapes, and sizes. The only reason why I said black people, because I'm a black person and I know a lot of stuff that's been said about black people joining the military. And the same ones that talk about black people joining the military, how they don't like it, are the same ones that stuck in the system, like I said before, of welfare, food stamps, all that type of stuff that is keeping them broke generationally.
Stop signing up for the military. I don't care what they tell you. Like, if you are a God-fearing patriot of this country who loves the United States so much, you fly their flag everywhere, you might want to scroll past this video because I'm going to make your asshole itch, okay? Cool. The thing that bothers me is when I constantly see so many young people, their military photos circulating, and, you know, they've been killed in action or missing, or like they lost their lives as a result of being in the United States military, okay? Obviously, they made the choice to join it, whatever, based off of whatever bullshit they were sold. And it's especially when they're like black or people of color, because country, these powers, whatever, work so very hard against you. It's not even funny. Like, spiritually, they're always plotting against us. Even like way back in the day, like when black people used to be in the military, like they were treated like shit. And it's like, you're giving your life. Literally, a lot of people gave their life for this country that don't give a fuck about them. I don't know. It just really just blows me. This place is not worth safe. Well, this place is, you're fighting meaningless wars. Like, you're fighting a war for, they don't even know. You're not protecting this country. If you're protecting this country, it's probably because of something they did.
If you're black and you're sensitive when it comes to the N-word, you need to join the military. You need to join the military because it's going to help you build tougher skin when it comes to that word. Why? Because when I first joined the military, I was sensitive about that word. And, you know, then I started hearing all kinds of racist jokes and stuff like that, and it used to upset me. But then the more I started hearing those jokes, the more I realized, like, they were funny jokes. And nobody meant anything by them. They were just jokes. Not only that, but I started to laugh at those jokes because I started to realize that the idea of racism in general is a joke. The idea that somebody would think that they're better than you inherently just because of what skin their body is in is a joke. So I became less sensitive to the BS. So now if somebody calls me that word or even says that word around me, I don't even care, because if they're saying it in a racist way, it doesn't matter. They're the dumb one. Plus, in the military, if you look at my screen name, the dark green Marine, in the military, that's just a phrase where we all use green. We're all green. Nobody's better than anybody. I'm a darker green. Some people are lighter green, but we're all green. Basically, what that's saying is when it comes down to it, when we're in the foxhole, color don't matter. It depends on who's on your left and right. It don't matter what color they are. You depend on them. And that's how I view life, and that's how everybody should view life. When it comes down to it, it doesn't matter what color of skin the person is. If you can depend on them, let them be there. So if you're sensitive about the N-word and you let that word flip you out and you act a fool and act like what they call you, then you need to join the military.
Hey, y'all. So y'all remember some months ago when I said black people stop sending your kids to the military, and I had some people in my comments getting mad and saying this is an opportunity. They can get houses, they can go to college, they can do all these things. And I said, in this regime, I wouldn't be sending my kids in the military. And this is coming from someone who is a military brat, was married to someone that had been in the military, was in a long-term relationship with someone who had been in the military. I know what I'm talking about. And I said, don't do it. Black folks, stop doing this. Stop acting like this is just a badge of honor for our kids. Now look at where we're at. This man literally sat up here and said, yeah, we're going to have some casualties. You know, that's to be expected. And he was talking about your kids because Barron is sitting his ass doing some tech shit somewhere down to the White House. He ain't talking about Barron. He ain't talking about Junior. He ain't talking about Eric or Ivanka or none of his grandkids. He talking about your kids. When are y'all going to learn? Put your kids in college, or if they're not college material, have them go get a trade. Electrician, plumber, HVAC, general contractor, tech, computers, something. Stop sending their ass to the fucking military.
The reason why I still didn't mind joining the military as a black woman is because, yes, racism exists. We can never escape racism. Joining the military gives you a privilege. I grew up military. My dad was in the Army. I grew up on base. Going to school on base is like going to a private school. Like the resources, the education that your children get is absolutely amazing. Your family is taken care of straight out the gate. You're going to have a house. You're going to have enough money to get the cars, put food on your table. You're going to have health care. You're going to have everything you need. You're privileged to be a veteran. We get veterans, they get to eat for free all day. We get out, if we become a disabled veteran, we still get health care for the rest of our life. Travel the world. The military takes care of you, for the most part. Of course, there are things that people struggle with. Everybody doesn't have a good experience, but for the most part, they take care of you in the military. So that's why I recommend anybody to go.
I have a question for all my fellow brothers and sisters out there who look down and shame us brothers and sisters who are in the military. How would you feel, or would you be okay if there was no black people in the military? In fact, y'all remember that Secretary of War press conference that he had? How would you feel if the military was just full of everybody that he wanted in the military, which sounded like just white men? That's it, just white men. Before you answer that question, we're gonna all be fully aware that we know about disparities in promotions and recognition, unequal discipline, racism and sexism and all that other stuff. That's not just a military thing, that's everywhere. But we're gonna answer this question being fully aware of this, right? Before you answer this question, let's think about all of the benefits, and I'm just gonna say a couple of the major ones. The VA loan, that GI Bill, and disability. Are you okay with us not having access to none of that? And that's just the big ones. Then the retirement plan, and then the benefits that get passed down to their kids. Are you okay with us not having any of this?
It's been your boy Hendo. I appreciate y'all for checking in with me. Like, comment, subscribe, hype this video up. Let me know what you think. What side of the fence do you sit on? And I also want to say it does matter what regime you're under. You know what I mean? What regime you're joining during what's going on in the world globally when you're joining. You know what I mean? That plays a factor into it. But I'm getting down to the main question. Should blacks join the military, or should we look for alternative ways to defend or learn or get these benefits or create alternative ways? or should we just not join the military? You give it to me. Should we or should we not?